also, and this is a role that many people know of the media as a watchdog, but how does that work out in this place? So the media plays the role of keeping people accountable. So if you think about education, at the policy level, there are things that the government, for example, says they will do. Are they doing them? That's the role of the media. There are certain things that are agreed globally about access to education. Is the government following those? That is at one level. We are talking about technology. We've been told about amazing things here that are happening, but there are questions that people keep asking. For example, there was a question asked about things like data privacy and all of those things. The media comes in as a watchdog to make sure that technologies that are coming are actually truly beneficial, because as we have seen, every time there is something great that comes up, whether it is AI, whether it is all these other digital technologies, there are also snake oil merchants who come and tell you this works, this doesn't. I mean, there is so much in this space. Every time there's a good thing, there will be people in that space. And as a media, it is our job also to be able to call that out. We're a catalyst for change as well. The media helps to shape behavior in society by modeling or advocating for the right behavior and discouraging practices, for example, that are regressive. Practices, for example, that say, girls are not supposed to go to school, things like those ones. So the media becomes that advocate for the people who are marginalized in society. Another important role, I think, is we have the convening power in the traditional sense of thinking about a public square where people come and discuss their issues. The media provides a space for dialogue where people can come together, whether it is educationists, policy makers, whether it is students, teachers, tutors, all of those. They come together in the same space, and the media provides that. Now we have the media that is the traditional ways of thinking about media. We have new media, we have social media. All of these spaces provide space for appearance, where people appear to discuss their issues. And that's an important thing that I think as media we do. And I could go on and on, but the thing is that the media is the bridge between all these wonderful things that people are developing and the society where those developments, innovations, and all of those things are supposed to have an impact.
Right. We've talked about the role of media. Now we are heading to public-private, the role. When it comes to education technology, how can governments and private sector players collaborate when it comes to scaling affordable ed technology solutions?
Okay, let me also contextualize the state of affairs in Africa and also in Kenya, so that I can respond to your question. So first of all, there's an alarming statistic that only up to 60% of Africans do not have access to basic educational resources that they need. That's according to a UNESCO report from 2023. There's also another report by ITU that says that that up to 70% of schools, the rural schools, do not have internet connectivity, which is also super alarming. So in this day and age, in this AI era, in this time of unprecedented progress on all sorts of other things, it's imperative that governments come together through policy and work together with private sector. We have a couple of really good examples that we've seen. Another statistic is also about the disparity. There's a 20% disparity in young women being able to access digital learning tools, and that's across the country, which should all give us pause to think and to be concerned. So there are two or three examples that I can give that we've seen of exciting public-private sector partnerships. Airtel came together with UNESCO and have launched a program a couple of years ago for connectivity to primary schools. So their target is 1 million learners in primary schools to be able to benefit from, and that's 50 schools, where they will upgrade their labs, connect them to the internet, give data bundles, and then help teachers with online resources and training so that they can embed how they teach using digital tools. Because that's another of the challenges is teacher shortages, and this idea that maybe our teachers are not fully prepared to embrace digital learning and to use digital as a tool. Another example that we've seen has been the DigiTruck initiative by Huawei, where you have these portable converted containers that are moved from place to place. They've worked extremely well in Nigeria, for example, or Sudan, to help displaced learners to be able to access devices, connectivity. They're solar powered, so they can work off grid, which is a very then powerful way of this working out. And then, of course, there's closer to home, there's Ajira Digital. Ajira combines the best of public-private sector partnerships, and we've seen that over the last 5 years, wherein over 420,000 young people have participated and benefited from Ajira trainings and mentorship, whether through the Ajira Youth Empowerment Centers, or whether it's through the clubs, or whether it's through getting data bundles. In a partnership we have with Safaricom, where we give through something called EduPass, the data EduPass bundles, so that young people can learn website development using virtual learning. In the case of Ajira, it's the public-private partnership. It's about the right policies in place to create an enabling environment. It's the Ministry of ICT having the vision and the foresight to provide devices at these Ajira Youth Empowerment Centers. It's graciously funded through the MasterCard Foundation, and so MasterCard came in and has enabled us and KEPSA. KEPSA is the other member of the consortium and the partnership, so that then everything that we're doing and training about is demand-driven, whether it's customizing the curriculum so that for the BPO sector, there's that linkage between what government policy is doing to attract and offer incentives for the BPO sector, whether it's KEPSA members being able to benefit from the digital skills of those who've been trained through Ajira. And then, of course, the other member is the MPs in this partnership, because the Ajira Youth Empowerment Centers are actually sort of owned and set up by members of parliament using their NGCDF, the CDF funding. So it's a partnership that requires everyone to bring their strengths to the table. KEPSA on the demand side, Immobilis on the skilling and the hub management side, MasterCard Foundation, money, co-design, funding, and then the government, the right policies, the right enabling environment, and then promoting Kenya as a destination globally for freelancing. And so that we get to the situation where we are tackling 40% unemployment crisis, where of the 900,000 plus young people who enter the workforce every year from tertiary institutions and all manner of institutions, they can't all be absorbed into formal employment. So what other opportunities does digital economy enable, and how can government, private sector working together, how do we provide a
questions to
Yeah,
me?
yeah. Then
Yeah,
we'll also...
safety is very key in this cloud era. And I think that the reason why a lot of people make a lot of noise, I call it noise because sometimes I think we overuse the word safety, is we are being unnecessarily careful for nothing. Organizations have not even implemented any form of technology, but you go to board meetings and people are making noise about safety. I mean, one of my favorite quotes in life is a quote from Tony Stark. If I mention that name and you know who he is, then it makes sense. But to explain to you who he is a problem. Tony Stark is a philanthropist, billionaire, entrepreneur that took the role of Iron Man in the Iron Man movie. When Tony Stark constructed Mark II version of his armor, and he wanted to test it, the computer was telling him, oh, we've not run enough tests, we've not done this, we've not done this, it would be risky for you to take this on a flight, it would be bad for you to... And Tony Stark was like, sometimes you have to run before you walk. And so he took the Mark II armor and flew up into space. When he got to a certain level in space, the armor started freezing, and the engine just went off. He eventually recovered. But if you watch that movie and you get to the end of that movie, that was how he defeated the person who came against him at the end. Because he just made the person fly all the way to the sky, and then the person then learned the lesson that he had learned earlier. If we make so much noise about security, we will get to the point where we are apprehensive about the technology, so much so that we don't implement the technology out of fear of what it will do to you. When WhatsApp first came up, there were conversations in India where India was looking to ban WhatsApp because they felt it was going to cause problems for children in schools. People were going to start using it to exploit examinations and things like that. 6 years after, India adopted WhatsApp as a global platform for communicating within themselves because they had gone beyond the initial fear and they started taking advantage of the technology. The people who are creating Office 365, Azure Cloud, they are just as conscious of security as you are. And they are putting tools into these platforms to help you to secure yourself. But then, like I said again, in Africa, we don't take advantage of those things. I've had conversations with C-level executives where you are begging them to enable multi-factor authentication. And they're making it look like as if multi-factor authentication is to my own benefit. I remember in an organization, somebody told me, I can't enable it because the text messages are coming to my private phone. If you want me to enable it, tell the organization to buy me a phone. And you have these conversations with people, like, are you serious at all? You're a chief executive officer, and you're telling me you don't want to enable multi-factor authentication because it's an additional stress to sign into your email. Have you considered the risk, the factors that will happen if your email address was compromised? So security is good. There are tools already in almost every existing system that we can take advantage of. Office 365, for example, has new levels of security where you can use passkey authentication, which is passwordless kind of authentication. So you sign into your email address with just your username. That feature was enabled 3 years ago. There are organizations today using Office 365 that don't even know that it exists. There are technology people still going around signing in with username and passwords in 2025. There's technology now to secure you on any platform, but we just have to take advantage of it.
All right, thank you. And I think just, I thought you had something to say about the same.
Yeah, just to add on that, I think security online is also about just being conscious about it. I think we don't, it comes down to very simple things. For instance, when we're talking about data security, data privacy, a lot of times, anytime you're signing into an app and they tell you, do you accept the terms and conditions, you go ahead and just click that box and continue. We don't want to do the work to secure ourselves as well, right? As he said. It comes down to very simple things like understanding what are these guys doing with my data, what data am I submitting, why am I submitting this data. So just being very conscious about, I am using this platform, I am putting my life here, and I'm going to be conscious about what I do and how they are going to use it.
All right. And Alan had mentioned that when the example of India, about worrying about like exam papers, I don't know whether they've done anything about Telegram, because in Kenya we have our own story. And Daniel can tell you about it later. So another way that people try and get an edge to try and level up with the quote bigger brands, those who are out there, is about the diversification of the kind of product that you're offering. And at Paid, I can see that you also, apart from just helping guys get paid, you've also added other functions such as savings. Maybe explain to us, how does that work? And how has it worked for you in terms of people now engaging with you and more?
Yeah, I think one of the things about innovating in Africa, just before I get to like the complete question, one of the things about innovating in Africa is the Silicon Valley model doesn't work here. What global innovation gives us as Africa is a blueprint, and we have to contextualize that blueprint. Recently, there's one founder from Nigeria who was saying that focus in Africa for an entrepreneur is a luxury we can't afford. I'll explain. The reason why we've gone beyond just doing payments for our user base is because when you look at the needs of an African freelancer and the needs of an American freelancer, they're entirely different. The freelancer in Africa does not only need to figure out how to get paid, they need to figure out how I make this money and how this money goes at par with, say, for starters, I had the mention of currency depreciation. I'm getting paid in dollars. My currency goes up and down. I don't know when the next rate will be. Though the Kenya shilling has been stable for a couple of months, which is, anyway. So they have to deal with a lot more than just receiving these payments, right? So us introducing the ability for them to save, the ability for them to track their income, and even now we are launching, in the next 2 weeks, we are launching an agent that enables their money to talk to them. So like, for instance, a freelancer is using 20% more on Uber this month. Paid is able to tell you, hey, you're spending more on Uber this month, and April is normally a dry month for you. Save more in March so that in April you're able to, your money can still work for you. So this is because the needs of the African market are, like, our problems are compound. We don't have very parallel or very linear sort of problems. So then that means that even innovators need to diversify how they address these problems and give more value to the end user, because even in terms of, from the perspective of purchasing power, I cannot charge a freelancer 3% of their payment if all I'm giving them is just the ability to pay, right? I have to give them more value so that what they're paying also makes sense for them. So essentially, the diversification and just building a compound product is all about covering the base in as far as the problems that our markets sort of face.
Okay, and I'm going to open it up to the floor for any questions to the gentleman on stage or comments. So if you just raise your hand, then our team will bring the microphone to you. Anyone with a question, just raise your hand. I see. Oh, there's someone. Okay, yeah, let's begin with the lady.
Thank you, and really excited to see, very local solutions by our young people, for our young people, but specifically to the element of payment, where the challenges that Benai and his companies are solving of freelancers' payment, that we have so many of the freelancers, or rather people in the gig economy, getting their payment coming through international platforms, and these are third-party, solution providers like the PayPals and the Payoneer, where the young people, or rather the workers, in most cases get to lose their money through the KYCs and other very flimsy reasons. So what are other solutions, or rather other innovators doing here in Africa, or rather Kenya and beyond? Benai, besides yourself, do we have others that are trying to come up with solutions? And how much ground have we been able to cover so that we can say we have something really that is sustainable for our young people, and especially in this case where we're shifting to the digital economy?
All right, thank you. Maybe we could pick a few, then we lump them together. Unless you're fearing you'll forget. Maybe you'll be fine. Good.
Good afternoon. So my name is Henry. My question is all about freelancing. So let's say, for example, on Upwork, we find most of the time as beginners in freelancing, you find if you don't have reviews enough, it's very hard for you to find any job, especially when you bid or you write a good proposal. So what would you advise? Thank you.
All right. Is there any other? So we could just have them addressed in one. Or there's one over there.
My name is
Okay,
Velma.
good afternoon.
All right, let's have the lady there. Sorry, then we'll come there.
My name is Velma. My question goes to Benaya. What programming?
Sorry, if you could boost her mic a bit, or she could speak louder, or both.
My question goes to Benaya.
Benaya?
What programming languages do you use most often, and why? What are the biggest challenges in your job, and how do you overcome them? Can you describe a recent project you worked on? Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And we'll have the final one, the gentleman over there.
Okay, thank you. My name is James from Kenya Coast National Poly. My question is on the part of the freelancer. We have so many platforms like Remote Task and others where I've been a victim because of my students. And some of these platforms, unless you use the VPN to bypass, what advice that you can give to the young tasker so that at least they can start earning it through those platforms? Thank you.
All right, thank you. And I think we'll take those. And I know those some are for Benaya. I know you could probably have some input on the same. So Benaya, we could begin with what other innovators are doing to come up with solutions for sustainability.
Yeah, I think specifically in the gig work space, one of the biggest challenges, and I think the two questions are related, one of the biggest challenges we've had is a lot of what we are doing in Africa is catching up. So remote tasks will be brought up in the US or wherever, PayPal will come from wherever, and then Africa will adapt it, right? So a lot of what we are doing is just picking up what's coming. And we've not, until recently, we've not seen a lot of local platforms really sort of like go out there. So what I've seen other innovators do specifically within payments is, you see, the biggest challenge is the fact that PayPal is built for the guy in the US sending money to Africa, not the freelancer in Africa receiving the money. That is why PayPal's KYC is not built to work within the context of the African freelancer. So then a platform like Pay that sort of aggregates these different payment channels and enables the guy in the US to pay this freelancer in Africa while understanding the context of this African freelancer is essentially the solution. And there are lots of other guys who are doing that in this space. You've had guys like Gray who are issuing dollar accounts for these freelancers. Same thing to platforms. I've seen a handful of local gig platforms which are also slowly building towards providing African solutions to this problem. So I think the way forward is just supporting these platforms and supporting. I think we are used to supporting being funding. Supporting can just be pushing the narrative of these platforms, using these platforms ourselves, and just getting the word out there that this is an African solution to a global problem.
All right. I think there were some questions on what programming languages you use, your biggest challenges, and describe a recent incident. Let's first take the first two, the languages and challenges.
I use lots of languages. I use PHP. I started off with PHP, and then I transitioned to Ruby. I transitioned to JavaScript. JavaScript is the language of the web. If you know JavaScript, you know a lot of other things. I do Golang as well. Yeah.
All right, he's multilingual. And they've asked about some of your biggest challenges.
One of the biggest challenges, I think, and a good chunk of young innovators would relate is it's a challenge and a blessing at the same time. That more often than not, you're the youngest person in the room. Being the youngest person in the room means a good number of people won't take you seriously, maybe until they hear you speak or until they know what you're doing. And on the flip side, being the youngest person in the room means that you have a lot of room to, forgive my French, F around and find out, which essentially means you have a lot of room to try things out, to make mistakes without responsibilities, experiment, yes. You have a lot of room to experiment and learn as you go. So I think that has been the biggest challenge. And how I go around it, which ties to the question around there are these platforms, you're a beginner, you don't know what to do, you can't get these gigs, is I have embraced building in public. I think one of the tools we really have as young people, and we know how to use, is social media. I make a lot of noise about everything I'm doing. And that, you see, that is one easy way to get noticed, because your work will precede you. People will know you for your work before they know you for, the young person that you are. Same thing goes for freelancing on these platforms. I remember when I started, what I did with my freelancing profiles is I'd build stuff, I'd build websites, do designs on my free time, and then on my profile, I'd add a section with links to my previous works. So as much as I don't have ratings and reviews and all that, guys can easily see this guy has done a lot of things in the past, and they're just pet projects that I did on my own. So it's essentially just putting yourself out there and show the world that you actually have what you need them to know you have.
All right. All right, thanks. And Alan, I don't know if you have anything to pick up on some of the questions that were asked.
I think just to speak to the question about what programming language you use, anybody that has been in the IT industry for a significant amount of years will know that language is just like language. If I come in here and I say Yoruba is the best language in the world, I'm sure there are several people here that would stand up and start throwing objects at me, because that is the language that I speak. I've come into Kenya and I've heard people speaking Swahili, I've heard my colleagues speaking English, I've heard other people speaking other languages in different places. Language is just a tool. How efficient or proficient you are at it is what makes you better than the other person. I've gone for interviews in Fortune 500 companies where you would expect that, because this is this company, they are using the latest language to work, and they ask you a question and they tell you to do it in a completely different language. Because the skill sets they are testing is not your ability to write or code in a certain language, it's just the way you think. Once you can think and provide a solution to a problem in your mind, the language is no longer the barrier. So whether you're writing with PHP or you're writing with Ruby or you're writing with jQuery, whatever scripting language you want to learn it. Every scripting language can do exactly the same thing the other ones can do, but it's how proficient you are at it that really matters. So he did mention that, he started off with PHP. I'm sure he got to a point in PHP and was like, Ruby is more fancy, so he went to Ruby. And then after that, was like, Ruby is not getting the kind of bandwidth of it, so I'm moving to this. But in reality, he could have stayed with PHP and built his application on PHP. BBC owns one of the largest news platforms in the world, and they're running on PHP. But CNN will not try that kind of mistake because their team is built with different things. So the language is never the barrier. It's your depth and your knowledge of those platforms that really matter. So stick with what language you like, but be very, very good at it.
Right, good, and that's a very good point, even in principle, that sort of one size fits all. So thank you very much. That's Benaya Wepundi, founder of PayHQ, or PayHQ, Paid, right? Paid, and a Jira program innovator. He's a young achiever, as they've said. Well done. And we also have Alan Olayiwola. I didn't break my tongue the way. He's a cloud solutions architect and works with Smart Workplace. Thank you for speaking to us. Some great insights from you guys. Thank you. And like we had said, we've got different setups just outside here, which some of the people who've been on the panels here have been exhibiting their products or their businesses, their services. Please make sure you pass by at some point and engage with a lot more of what is happening. I know for Paid, there's the website, which there's a lot of interesting stuff. You just go to his website, mypaid.app, right? Mypaid.app, and you'll see whether you can start. Do you have MMF?
It's coming.
It's coming. Yeah, it's become the new Quail. But thank you very much. Let's give them a round of applause as they take their seats. Thank you very much, gentlemen. And just because we don't coexist with elephants, I'm sure everyone heard how the freelancer was making a lot of money. And I know you didn't want to talk about it, but that guy said he was earning about $500,000 and then left the job to be a freelancer. Power to Gen Z. So we still have more goodie bags to give out from Samsung. Samsung are sufficiently philanthropic, but we shall do so as we come to a close of this session. So keep getting your nation coins if that's what the criteria is. Reina is going to tell us whether that is how you're going to get your other, you are going to get the goodie bags. But at this point, I'd like to invite for the closing address, Russell Akwom. He's the CIO of the Nation Media Group, to come and speak to us about the path forward, collaborative solutions for Africa, so that even as we get to that $60, mambo ya $20 tumekata, reject. Thank you.
Great. Good afternoon. Jambo. You know, back in my, shall I say, in my previous life, I prided myself in being young. And we used to go around saying, I'm Russell, I'm a millennial, and I'm a monster. And at that time, the millennials were really monsters. Well, until the Gen Zs took over. And a question we used to ask, you know, no one really knows why or how we got this way. And there are a lot of theories as to how we could have gone so terribly, terribly wrong, and what could have gone so terribly, terribly wrong with the millennials. It could be that when I was in nursery school, we sang a lot of songs to build our self-esteem. And that's why we turned out to be narcissists with no sense of human empathy. It could also be that when we transitioned to primary school, we literally got trophies for participation. And this resulted in us millennials basically really ready to kill anyone who gets in between us and social mediaing. Now think about the millennial, think about the Gen Z, and think about the alphas now. These are the customers we are targeting with our digital products. How might we build their self-esteem in the digital plane? And how might we ensure that we don't get in between them and their social mediaing in the digital esteem? So these are the folks that we are building for. So distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues and visionary leaders, this being our 5th Nation Digital Summit, it has been 5 years of gathering the brightest minds in technology, business, and policy. 5 years of inspiring conversations, groundbreaking innovations, and of course 5 years of trying to survive back-to-back panel discussions and fireside chats. And now we have to survive another speech. As we bring this transformative digital summit to a close, we stand at a pivotal moment. One defined not only by the insights we have gained, but by the actions we are poised to take. Over the past sessions, we have explored the immense potential of digital transformation across Africa, the challenges that persist, and the collective solutions that will drive progress. Under the guiding theme of shaping Africa's future for sustainable prosperity, we have delved into the ways technology, policy, and innovation can pave the way for long-term economic and social progress. We have seen how Africa's digital future is being shaped by rapid advancements in technology, a vibrant entrepreneurial spirit, and it's really vibrant. I mean, the young coder who left a 500,000 job to just become a freelancer, that's really vibrance and entrepreneurial. And also an increasingly connected society, from fintech to agriculture, and the fantastic things we saw Governor Irungu Kangata do around agriculture. From manufacturing to creative industries, Africa is proving to be a hub of groundbreaking ideas. With the right investments and partnerships, we can position the continent as a global leader in innovation through thought leadership. Businesses and governments alike, and yesterday we had a fair representation of government, are harnessing the power of digitalization to improve efficiency, reduce costs, and enhance service delivery. The challenge now is to ensure that no industry is left behind in this technological revolution. The healthcare sector is undergoing a digital renaissance. There's a lady here yesterday introduced as an eye doctor, and she was very keen to indicate that she's a physician. Okay? So the healthcare sector is not left. So telemedicine, AI-driven diagnostics, and mobile health solutions are expanding access to quality care, particularly in remote areas. The goal is clear. Technology must be a tool to save lives, not just a convenience. As Africa embraces digitalization, data protection remains a top priority. I particularly enjoyed the session on security and cybersecurity, I think early in the morning. Let's develop robust cybersecurity frameworks that safeguard users while ensuring that regulatory policies do not stifle innovation or limit access for marginalized communities. I think if there are regulators who are listening to us, on one side, we understand that there's no regulator who wouldn't want to see innovation in their fields, but they need to support that. Digital trade is unlocking new opportunities for African businesses, enabling SMEs to access regional and global markets like never before. Scaling e-commerce across the continent requires better logistics, payment solutions, and supportive policies. And mobile banking and digital payments have revolutionized financial access for underserved populations. However, there is more work to be done to ensure that fintech continues to empower the unbanked, support small businesses, and drive economic inclusion across the continent. In fact, Dr. Robert Ochola is a very good friend of mine and also the CEO of Africa Nenda. I hope you're familiar with Africa Nenda. He reckons that at this moment, there are 350 million Africans who are financially excluded. And if we continue with the same pace and cadence of financially including them, then by the year 2025, only 94 million would have been added to the financial inclusion bubble, leaving out 250 million Africans. Achieving all this while driving resource efficiency will be exciting. In fact, one of the biggest surprises in the tech world recently has been the emergence of DeepSeek, an open source AI model that has disrupted the industry by outperforming giants like OpenAI's GPT and Meta's Llama. DeepSeek has redefined how we think about resource efficiency, not only in AI development, but in technology as a whole, because they delivered a better product at a fraction of the cost and time. This breakthrough challenges the traditional notion that only the biggest players with the deepest pockets can drive technological advancement, a true democratization of technology. Furthermore, it proves that with the right strategy, collaboration, and innovation, smaller, more agile teams can make an outsized impact. With the right necessity, Africa can indeed be the mother of all inventions. In November last year, for instance, we hosted a 2-day hackathon in partnership with Strathmore University, bringing together top technologists, academia, engineers, and creatives to explore the possibility of generative AI and other digital tools in media. Interestingly, the majority of participants were university students, and I see so many of them here. We were truly impressed by their depth of skill and knowledge. As a result, we have since adopted some of their proposed solutions. Actually, the winning students joined us as part of our team to implement not only their solutions, but also other solutions that we are seeing in the market. So these solutions, we hope that will give us the potential to make a meaningful impact on our business. Now, this is the kind of ingenuity Africa needs, leveraging our own unique strengths, working together, and finding innovative, cost-effective solutions to drive digital transformation across the continent. If DeepSeek can shake up the AI world with limited resources, imagine what Africa can achieve with our collective talent, drive, and vision. This summit has reinforced a powerful truth. Africa's digital transformation cannot be achieved in silos. It requires a united vision, shared resources, and unwavering commitment. And this is why we are very proud to host the Nation Digital Summit. By hosting thought leadership forums such as this and disseminating relevant information across our channels, we create a platform for knowledge exchange and foster conversations that drive meaningful change. As we continue shaping Africa's future for sustainable prosperity, let us leave this summit not just inspired, but mobilized to take decisive steps in forging a future where technology empowers every African. Together, through collaboration and innovation, we will chart the path forward. And if all else fails, at least we'll have a solid collection of social media posts and LinkedIn posts and conference selfies to remember this summit by. And for some of us, most of us, an opportunity to own a digital coin, the Nation coin. Thank you.
Thank you, Russell, for that. You know, when somebody said you should coin a solution, I think some of us took it literally. So I'm just reminding you about the Nation coin. That was the point of that statement. Before I call our Chief of COO, that's Monica, before she comes on stage, just a few things to point out. Again, when we are leaving, remember to just have your emails at the reception so that we can share with you these insightful presentations. We still have our giveaways from Samsung after Monica speaks. That's how we'll hook you to the end. And then Russell has said that Gen Z was the monster. Rather, millennials were a monster, then Gen Z came and shocked us. As Gen Z feel like they're on the throne, just know there are some guys called Alpha who are on their way to dethrone you from a distance. And aside from that, I just want to make some recognition of those institutions that have partnered with us for this conference. One of them being Samsung, Madison Life Assurance, Kenya Direct Pay Limited, Smart Workplace Kenya, Moringa School, Lions Sight Fast Eye Hospital, Immobilis, the Kenya Private Sector Alliance, that's KEPSA, MasterCard Foundation, Ajira Digital, Digital for Africa, the State Department for ICT and the Digital Economy, which was represented yesterday by the Principal Secretary, the County Government of Murang'a, whose governor was here yesterday, Alabai Logistics Innovation Limited, or is it Alabi? I realize Alabai is the one that ends with I. County Assembly of Trans Nzoia, County Government of Bomet. Very interesting having Bomet at a digital summit because we do know about Bomet has its own ikona sifa zake in this digital space. Tucheze na watu. Tumesikia ethical hackers. Don't share your pin with anyone. So the County Government of Bomet, Wajir County Assembly, Rift Valley Water Services, Frontier Optical Network Limited, Lake Victoria North Waterworks, Valorem Consulting Limited, Kenya National Highways Authority, that's KENHA, Top Level Management, East Coast Secretariat, Robisearch, Nandi County Government, Kenya Coast National Polytechnic, the County Assembly of Kwale, Imarika Sacco, Taita Taveta University College, Coast Waterworks Development Agency, Mafanikio Sacco, Aga Khan Academy in Mombasa, Trans Trailers Limited, Kentist Products Limited, Technical University of Mombasa, International Jamia of Languages and Professional Studies, and if I'm not wrong, I think next week, or is it today, this week, we have the day of Mother Tongue, the Mother Tongue Day International. Then we have Fair Deal Furnitures, Kenya Coast National Polytechnic, Pesalink, and Network International. We are grateful for your partnership with us on this summit. Again, like I said, I feel like I'm at a point of almost a diploma, degree, rather a certificate heading towards destination diploma. And before I get my diploma, I will now invite the National Media Group COO, Monica Ndungu, to come and akafunge. Let's appreciate as she comes to the front. And Monica might not say it, but I can give you a random fact about her. Is it a career limiting move?
Yeah, it's a career limiting move. Say it.
Anyway, Monica is a very good footballer. Kuna wanaume hapa mnaweza pepeta ball na atawashinda. I think if those tungepanga by the way kuja na ball mwenye na kushinda napata nation coin extra. Karibu.
Asante, just to give the gravity of how that pepetering. I have brothers, so let's contextualize this conversation, lest the men in the room are wondering. You know, these days, Dan, you have to be careful. They might wonder. Let me leave it at that. So you have to be careful. But to give it more context, yes, I can pepeta over 100. Stand on one sport and go with a ball. I'm a tomboy, again, because I have brothers. But that's not the reason we are here, Dan. You should have given me a better warning on sharing some things that you only know because of other things. But we shall revisit. We shall, you know, these days that word is overused. But my work is very simple this afternoon. And we were just seated with my colleagues, Joe Ageo, our editor-in-chief, and Russell Akwom, who you just heard from, our CIO. And it is 2:49, but the room is active. People are asking questions, and it's been this way yesterday and today. There must be something in there that we, as a community, will be able to do together. So for us, scanning that nation coin, giving us your email address, allows us to continue building this community of collaborators that will allow us to facilitate the transformation of Africa through digital. And so, honored guests, and for us, all of you are our honored guests, the speakers, the partners, and the delegates. As we bring the 5th Nation Digital Summit to a close, it is both a privilege and an honor for Nation Media Group that you spent your time with us. Over the past 2 days, we have had engaged, insightful discussions, groundbreaking case studies, and thought-provoking panels, all centered around our theme, digital transformation in African industry. As you have heard from our CIO, Russell Akwom, and as you reflect on what you have heard, there was a great feature between people who are living experiences on what digital transformation can do. There was great actors from government, private sector, students in academia, and many others. We were privileged to hear from them and hear about their valuable perspectives on innovation and policy. We also were lucky to be joined by business leaders like Tomiwa Aledokomo, who's the CEO of Big Cabal, Gituku Kirika of Pesalink, who all shared transformative insights on how technology can enable business growth and foster inclusion. Now, to the exciting statistics, because it's about technology, and so we are collecting data. We had over 120 attendees yesterday, and today we had 106 attendees in the room. And I think I'd like us to appreciate ourselves. I won't make you dance, I promise. In addition, we had 6 exhibitors out there, including offers from Samsung, who showcased cutting-edge innovations, reaffirming the role of technology in reshaping Africa's industries across Africa. The summit would not have been possible without the unwavering support of those of you in the room today and yesterday, but also our partners and our sponsors, and Dan has gone into great length to appreciate them. And all of you have had invaluable contributions. I'd also like to speak to the expertise that we came across as we listened, the thought leadership that shaped the discourse of the summit, leading the creative economy conversations, financial inclusion, innovations in healthcare, mobility, e-commerce. Each session sparked meaningful conversations, which we hope and believe will inspire actionable solutions. Finally, again, a heartfelt thank you to all of you. Your engagement, curiosity, and willingness to exchange ideas were instrumental in making the Nation Digital Summit a success. As we live here today, and as our CIO Russell has spoken to, we urge all of you to collaborate, take forward the insights gained, foster, again, new collaborations, and continue driving digital transformation. The conversations we have started here must not end. And Nation Media Group remains committed to facilitating dialogue that drives progress, innovation, and digital sustainable growth. We look forward to seeing you. We look forward to hearing from you. We look forward to you joining our community of collaborators that has Africa at its heart. And we look together at how we can shape a more connected and a technologically empowered Africa. As I close, let me close with a quote by a digital strategist known as Sean Geretti. And he says, "The technology you use impresses no one. The experience you create with it is everything." I repeat that again. The technology you use impresses no one. The experience you create with it is everything. And so as we end the day today, I implore all of us from Nation Media Group and every collaborator in the room to ensure that the technology we use is not to impress, but is to ensure the digital transformation of Africa. Thank you very much, and we appreciate all of you.
Thank you very much, Monica. I actually wanted to request for your presence to give away some goodie bags. All right, are we ready for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10? All right. So we already gifted Dr. LLP. Next is Mishadan. Mishadan? Is Mishadan here? All right, can we clap for Mishadan? Sofa Lion? That's an interesting name. Jimmy? It's from the same table, I see the trend. Abraham? Marsh? And finally, Victor. Is Victor here? Victor, V-I-K-T-A-R. It's not here? Okay, it moves on. The next. Are you sure? IBC, eh? All right. Huh? Okay. I just want to thank you all for participating. When it comes to the Nation Coin, you really helped us a lot. This is a new product that we've just launched for this event, and we are hoping that we'll use it for other Nation Media Group events. You guys are the early adopters. It's very good to be fast. Doesn't it feel nice? The ones who got the goodie bags, don't you feel amazing? Thank you so much, Samsung, for helping us bring this to life and for helping us really reward our participating Nation. What were we calling them, Eugene? All right. I'll remember tomorrow when I get back to the office. But so far, I just want to close this. Thank you so much. I've been your moderator for these 2 days, together with Dan Mwangi. Moderating and hosting alongside Dan is not easy, but I hope I did a fantastic job. Thank you.
I never knew I'm that difficult. Thank you very much, Reina. You've done a fantastic job. As we close, a few announcements and just points of reiteration. As we leave, make sure you pass by the registration desk to just confirm on your travel itinerary details. You can ask for Naomi. Naomi, please wave at them. That is Naomi, one of the most helpful people you'll ever meet. God bless you, Naomi. Then, as we close, another 2 things. One, that's the end. Basically, when you go for your lunch, you can now go and breathe a bit more. Remember to leave your email so that you can do your preps, like night preps. When we send, leave your email address, I beg your pardon, so that we can send to you the presentations, the various documents. And as we close again, we would like to take a photo, a group photo. So I'm going to invite us all. So maybe we'll do the national anthem first. Okay? But after the photo, we can be officially dismissed. So I'll ask us to stand up. The sound team, I realize if I say tech team in this summit, everyone will say yes. So the sound team, let me know you're ready with the anthem.
Just before you say the anthem, I forgot something very critical, which I must. If you're from the Nation Media Group team, please wave your hand. Please wave your hand. Now, if you're next to someone from Nation Media Group, please give them a high five. And please thank them for putting this together. Russell, myself, and Joe work through our teams, and I forgot to mention that. I focused on them being part of the collaborators. I forgot to call them out specifically, so I want to apologize profusely, good people. But we appreciate all of you and everything you've done, led by Eugene, Mercy, all of you. I cannot name all of you, but we appreciate that you have our mission as Nation Media Group driving you every day to positively influence society. And what better way to do that by leading in the agenda of digital transformation for our continent. So thank you very much, guys. Let's give them a round of applause.
Thank you very much, Monica. We are okay. Some of us are middle children. That has been the life we have lived. And I am not speaking from wounds. I'm just affirming you that tuko sawa. Yes, your cellular phone is here. We're okay. Another fun fact, Monica is a very good singer. She can make money, gig economy. There's a guy there for gig economy. Make your money. All right, national anthem. At ease. So at this point, I'd like to invite us to come to stage. Some of us will be at the top, I believe, then some of us at the bottom. Hapa chini to sawa. Sote tuwe hapa chini ama wengine wawe juu. Sawa, kuna yatakuwa juu. So karibuni, hii picha ni yetu sisi wote. Yeah, so we'll capitalize on this area that is beside the podium, both on the upper level and the lower level. Oh, yes. All right. Wapiga picha mtanisaidia kupanga watu. Kwanza wale wenye mnapiganga kwa harusi. 3 lines, eh? So where is the first one? Hapo katikati. Those of us who are closer to the ground, the down-to-earth guys, will be on the front row on the stage. Yes, then those of us who are vertically advantaged, vertically endowed, okay, vertically advantaged. Yes. Usikae mbele ya flag. Arnold, Fidel, lock camera and then come. We know these things. How is it to cheza? And then, yeah, after Odit does the photo, okay, so in this digital era, kuna dynamics to photo. So there's what we'll take with that one. The camera's there. So you can look at it first. Look at, I think if you look at Aya. All right, Odit. Aya, msitoke tafadhali. That's round 1. Round 2, we have Shama, who's going to come passing by with a phone. She will just pass by she's doing a video. My friends, we're in the digital age. Watu wa Kodak mtabea na sisi. So that is Shama. She's going to come. So what do you want them to do? To wave as you pass. And smile. Wave and smile, eh? Yeah, smile and wave. All right. Then the last one, I will go over there in front and do it as a selfie. I hope we can all fit.
Not winning anything. 700 mil down the drain. Arteta thought he'd win it all, but he forgot they changed the ball. Now Arsenal are not winning anything. Nothing at all.
These guys. So after this, we are going for lunch. So lunch is blessed. Enjoy yourselves. Those of us wenye tunasikia acidity, mtakuwa sawa sasa. And those haters of Arsenal, we are watching you.
Today I don't feel like doing anything. I just wanna lay in my bed. Don't feel like picking up my phone, so leave a message at the tone. 'Cause today I swear I'm not doing anything. I'm gonna kick my feet up, then stare at the fan. Turn the TV on, throw my hand in my pants. Nobody's gonna tell me I can't. Nah, I'll be lounging on the couch, just chilling in my Snuggie. Click to MTV so they can teach me how to Dougie. 'Cause in my castle, I'm the freaking man. Oh, yes, I said it. I said it. I said it 'cause I can. Today I don't feel like doing anything. I just wanna lay in my bed. Don't feel like picking up my phone, so leave a message at the tone. 'Cause today I swear I'm not doing anything. Nothing at all. Woo-hoo, woo-hoo, woo-hoo. Nothing at all. Woo-hoo, woo-hoo, woo-hoo. Tomorrow I'll wake up, do some P90X, meet a really nice girl, have some really nice sex, and she's gonna scream out, "This is great."
Oh my God, this is great.
Yeah, I might